Ever notice how the moment you start telling the truth in your family, you become the problem? The minute you see behind the curtain, everything changes. They don't see awareness as growth, they see it as threat. Because when you start telling the truth, you break the spell that keeps everyone comfortable. You became the mirror, and mirrors terrify people who can't face their own reflection. This is about what happens next, why awareness often feels like exile, and how that exile is never the end. When you become the mirror, you stop playing along with the illusion. You notice the tone beneath the words, the tension under the laughter, the truth resting beneath, we're fine. You can't unsee it. And that awareness rearranges everything because family is built on silence, can't survive reflection. So when you stop absorbing the chaos and start naming it, you interrupt the spell that keeps everyone safe in the lie. It's not your honesty that they hate, it's what it reveals. And that fear has a price. Awareness isn't only freedom, it's loss. The ones who taught you silence can't walk with you into honesty. It aches because love still lives there. But love without truth isn't connection, it's performance. You grieve what never truly existed, that version of family that you kept trying to believe in. You replay the memories, searching for proof it was ever real on both sides. And maybe it was before you saw the pattern, before you named what everyone else avoided. But clarity reshapes belonging. You begin to see that peace built on pretending isn't peace, it's paralysis. So you mourn, not because you failed, but because you finally stopped lying to yourself. That grief isn't weakness, it's proof that you cared, proof that you were still capable of love, even in a place that never felt safe. After you step away, quiet arrives. Yet, instead of peace, it feels like punishment. You replay every moment, searching for proof that you were cruel or evidence that you overreacted. That small voice inside whispers, maybe I'm the one who broke it. And that's how guilt works. It wears the mask of conscience, but runs on fear. You were taught that love means staying, that harmony matters more than honesty, that silence keeps families safe. So when you finally walk away, your system mistakes freedom for betrayal. It says you are selfish. It insists you should go back. But guilt is not truth. It is loyalty trying to keep its place. You can care and still choose space. You can love people and still refuse their harm. You didn't abandon them. You answered yourself. And every time guilt returns, it's only asking for reassurance. Am I still good? even if I'm gone? And the answer is yes, you are still good. You simply stopped confusing endurance with love. Slowly, you begin to see that clarity is not cruelty. Naming what happened is not attack, it's repair. Each time you tell the truth, your breath softens a little more. You start trusting your own eyes again. You see that love never asked you to vanish, that kindness never required silence, that peace was never meant to cost your voice. The work now is learning to see without anyone's permission. Awareness isn't arrogance, it's alignment. You are not broken for noticing. You are healing for believing yourself. And once that trust returns, the world begins to open again. Healing never arrives with fireworks. It arrives quietly in the in between moments. You make coffee without all of the anxiety. You sleep through the night. You laugh and it feels real. At first, the calm feels strange, but this is what truth sounds like when it no longer needs to scream. You begin to realize that safety is not the absence of noise, it's the presence of honesty. And even if your circle is smaller now, it's real. The conversations are slower, the connections are steady. Your system finally believes you are safe. Then one morning, that silence stops feeling empty and it starts feeling sacred. That ache softens. The air feels safe again. You can hear your own thoughts without flinching. That's when you realize exile was never punishment, it was protection. You were not cast out, you were called forward. You began seeing what love looks like when it no longer asks for pain. Awareness gave you exile, yes, but exile gave you truth. And from that truth, a new kind of belonging begins. Not the kind that asks you to shrink, but the kind that lets you stay visible. You start meeting people who speak without masks, who listen without fear, who feel like home without control. That is what healing brings. Not perfection, but peace that can breathe. Never lost your family. You found yourself. And from that place, real connection finally begins. And you realize that your awareness was not a curse, it was your calling. You were never the problem. You were the one who saw what hurt and cared enough to name it. That's all. You weren't breaking your family. You were breaking a pattern. You weren't too sensitive. You were simply aware in a room that feared awareness. What happened wasn't your fault. It was your awakening. And if that awakening cost you belonging, it's only because truth and pretending can't share the same space. We're not too much. You were the first to see clearly. And that clarity, that brave, lonely, beautiful clarity is love in its purest form.